Oh man, don't you just love the way Chris Johnston went out there and phrased this sentence. Today we are talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and no, we are not referring once again to the Phil Kessel argument. We are not talking about any trades. Today we are talking about William Nylander. And yeah, I know, Lego, you said you're not talking about any trades. All you're talking about with this guy the past few weeks is whether or not he'll get traded. What's up with that? I get it. It's been a topic the past few weeks, but in today's video, I wanted to change that narrative just a tad. Because when it comes to what Chris Johnston said on the most recent edition of the Leaf Report podcast, he had himself a very interesting update that goes over an idea that might be the biggest dictator as to what happens with Nylander next year. Now, as we all know, Nylander, expiring UFA to be, the guy is 27 years old, and he's a very good hockey player. Definitely a lot better than his $6.9 million AAV salary would indicate, and even this season, the guy has gone out there and shown off that value tremendously. 6 points, 3 games played, 3 goals, 3 assists. He is making plays out there, he is scoring some highlight reel goals, and he is just playing at a level that has sort of been unattained by Nylander ever since making his debut with the Leafs all those years ago. Here's a comment made by Austin Matthews on the goal that Nylander scored the other night against Minnesota, the very nice one where he dangled by everybody. That was beautiful. The way Nylander skates and handles the puck and is able to just dice his way through the neutral zone and the offensive zone, it's special. And just unreal patience to hang on to that and beat the guy wide and take it around the net. Nylander has been on fire this year. This is the best he has ever been. And, of course, it's also backed up by his multi-80-point seasons the past few years, 40 goals last season as well. He's a very good player, and we all kind of recognize that if he were to get the amount of money he is actually worth, he may not even be a Maple Leaf because, hey, he's going to be worth a lot of money. So, with all of this in mind, we have ourselves a general consensus that says that if the Maple Leafs really aren't able to free up some money, and Nylander really wants to get the dollars that he is worth, then it's probably a foregone conclusion that a trade is going to occur, right? But here's the thing. Chris Johnston on the most recent episode of the Leaf Report podcast. By the way, a link is in the description if you want to go ahead and listen to the audio yourself. Johnston goes out there and lays out this. I don't think there's any reason to think Nylander will not sign an extension in Toronto. Here's the dirty secret of that negotiation, in my opinion. The Leafs know that Nylander doesn't want to play anywhere else. What the Leafs could pay him over 8 years, and what another team, if he leaves on July 1st as a free agent, could pay him, is not really that different. I'm willing to say I would put at least 90% odds that Nylander is a Leaf next season. And this is the idea that we hadn't really acknowledged much or even brought up over the past few months of talking about Nylander trade rumors and signing rumors. The idea that he just wants to play in Toronto. This ain't no John Tavares pajama boy type stuff here, but it is something in that similar vein. How if he just really likes the team, he doesn't want to leave, he likes the situation, he likes the environment, he likes the teammates, he likes the fans. If Nylander just likes Toronto, then there probably would be some ability to lay off the gas pedal a little bit when it comes to asking for that dollar amount. Now, we know that from Nylander's negotiations a few years ago, the current contract that he's on right now, there were a lot of holdups in that process as well. Nylander wasn't signed until the midway part of his RFA plus 1 year. He missed out significant time because he wasn't able to get a contract done with Kyle Dubas. But they got it done eventually. Now he's on this deal, and it's been a few more years of hockey where Nylander has been good. The Maple Leafs, I guess you could say they have been good. I mean, playoff success isn't really there, but they've been all right just in general. So if it's gotten to a point now where Nylander's like, hey, I was drafted by this team literally a decade ago in 2014. I've played out my career in Toronto with the Matthewses and the Marners and the JVRs and the Rileys of the world. It's been fun, and we've been playing, and I like it here. why not take a little bit of a discount? Especially if you think about it in terms of years. If Nylander goes to the free agent market and he gets, let's say, $10 million by 7 years, that's $70 million in total on the contract. If he stays in Toronto and gets a $70 million contract with the Leafs at 8 years instead of 7, then all of a sudden the AAV goes from $10 million to 8.75. And 8.75 is a lot more manageable than 10 is. But the dollar amount at the end of the contract is the same. It's just the years that are played out a little bit differently. So if you're William Nylander, it could be understandable if you're like, yeah, no, I want to maximize every dollar I could make. Let's get the $70 million contract right now, and then we'll sign a $9 million contract after 7 years. We'll try to work out and maximize our dollars in that way. But at the same time, if you take out the element of wanting to maximize money and just saying, yeah, I would just rather play here, I want to stay, then signing that 8-year extension at, let's say, 8.75 mil becomes a little bit more easier to stomach. So I like how Chris Johnston phrased this. It's a dirty secret of the negotiation that nobody has really been discussing, mostly because of Nylander's past in the last contract negotiation, as well as the history we know of with his dad, because his dad, Michael Nylander, was also a difficult negotiator with NHL teams all those years ago, so having those traits rub off onto his kids, not really the most surprising thing in the world. For William Nylander, though, if he does express some sort of loyalty to Toronto, he takes a little bit of a discount, he comes back at a cheaper AAV but at a longer term, then that is the pinnacle of what we think about when we think of guys taking a discount. Even if it's not like 9 million. If it's 8.5, 8.75, maybe even 8.2, that's already a pretty good contract for a point per game, 40-goal scorer, a guy who is on pace for literally a double point per game season. I'm not going to say that Nylander gets 164 points in 23-24, but with the way the Maple Leafs have been going, with the way Matthews has been scoring, the way all these guys have been clicking, if Nylander gets a 90-point season, I don't think anybody should be too surprised. If he gets 100, I don't know if that's all too unrealistic either. But again, if these negotiations continue and get a little bit more busy at the end of the year, let's say Nylander has a 90-point year, is it more or less plausible that Nylander signs that longer-term, lower dollar amount AAV type of deal? Because, I mean, if he gets 100 points, there's huge earning potential there. He's 27. He's not, like, super old anyway, so there still is a lot of time for Nylander to continue being good and providing his services. So, if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, what are your thoughts on this idea here? That Nylander and his entire future may be just contingent on how much he likes your team. Not necessarily dollars, because if he likes the team enough, he might just be willing to take a little bit of a discount on a longer-term deal to ensure that he stays. Kyle Dubas, man. Throwback to the words, we can and we will. You re-signed Matthews, you still got Marner and Tavares for another year. Nylander is the guy who is probably in the most precarious spots. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Chris Johnston and his comments made on the Leaf Report podcast? Again, link is going to be in the description if you want to go ahead and listen to the full audio. Chris Johnston, of course, is a great interview. He does fantastic work. He's a good insider for hockey news and rumors. But thoughts in the comment section below about William Nylander taking a longer-term, lower dollar amount contract because it would be similar to what he could get on the free agent market, and how he would like to just stick around in Toronto in general. Do you buy it? Do you not buy it? Do you think this is a realistic outcome that Nylander gets maybe something in the 8.5, 8.75 by 8-year range with the Maple Leafs and Brad Treliving? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.